Good morning, everyone.
I am Ivy A. Azote.
I am Julia Rosella Claro.
And I am Darlene J. B. Obut. Today, we are tasked to report the Table of Specification, or the TOS. First and foremost, we will know first what is the Table of Specifications, its purposes and its functions, and the two examples of TOS. So, what is the TOS, or the Table of Specification? TOS is also called as test design, is a two-dimensional chart that outlines the content areas to be included in the test and the target skills or learning outcomes that the test intends to assess. So table of specification typically are designed based on the list of course objectives, the topics covered in class, and the amount of time spent on those topics, textbook chapter topics, and the emphasis and space provided in the text. A table of specifications allows the teachers to construct a test which focuses on the key areas and weights those different areas based on their importance. So it also helps the teacher to identify the strong and weak points of the learners. And it serves as a guide to the teachers in creating instructional decisions that will help improve the teaching learning process. So the purpose of a table of specification is to identify the achievements, domains being measured, and to ensure that a fair and representative sample of questions appear in the test. Teachers cannot measure every topic or objective and cannot ask every questions they might wish to ask.
So a table of specification benefits students in two ways. So first, it improves the validity of teacher-made tests because a table of specification allows the teacher to construct a test which focuses on the key areas and weights of those students or different areas based on their importance. A table of specification provides the teacher with evidence that the test has content validity, that it covers what should be covered. Then second, it can improve the student learning as well because it can help students all the ability of the learners by providing the table to students during instruction. Students can recognize the main ideas, case skills, and the relationship among concepts more easily. Overall, a table of specifications help to ensure that there is a match between what is taught and what is tested. So when the teacher design a blueprint or a table of specification, the details of a good test should be ensured and should ensure this. The content areas covered in class, the cognitive processes considered desirable for the learners at specific learning period. And here are the distribution of the contents of the test will depend on the following. So first, the emphasis on the concept or target skills, the time allotment of the topic in the scope, coverage, and the degree of the importance of the topic or content. And here, you can also see the checklist of when we show 2010. First are the specifications in harmony with the purpose. Do specification reflects the nature and the limits of the domain? Do the specification indicates the types of learning outcomes to be measured? Do the specification indicate the sample of learning outcomes to be measured? And fifth, are the number and types of items or tasks appropriate? Sixth, is the distribution of items and tasks adequate? And last, is the number of items adequate to represent the domain? So that is the checklist of when we show 2010 for the table of specifications.
So this time, I will show you a sample of table of specifications, or the TOS, and how to make one. So as you can see here, this is table of specifications that we made. As you can see in the first row, you can see there the course code. So in our case, we chose Science 5. In the next column, you can see there the quarter and the school year. So it is first quarter, school year 2022 to 2023. Then in the next column, you can see there the topics or the learning competencies that you have taught within that specific quarter. So we chose 3 competencies, and these competencies are: use the properties of materials whether they are useful or harmful. Next is recognize the importance of reuse, reduce, recycle, recover, and repair in proper waste management. And the third is investigate changes that happens in materials under the conditions of application of heat. So the next column, you can see there the number of hours. So you will identify how many hours you have taught that specific competency. So in the first competency, we have taught it for 6 hours. The next competency also 6 hours. And the third competency for 9 hours. The next step is to get the percentage of each competency for a total of 100%. So in getting the percentage in each competency, we should follow a formula. So this is the formula in getting the percentage. So you will get the number of hours divided by the total number of hours and multiply it by 100%. So as you can see there, in our first competency, we have 6 hours, in second 6 hours, and then next is 9 hours. If we total that hours, we can get 6 plus 6 plus 9 is equals to 21. So we have 21, total number of hours of 21. So we will put there 21. So next step is to divide the first competency. How many competency in the first competency? So we have 6 hours. 6 hours divided by 21, which is the total number of hours, times 100%. And then we can get 28.57. So we will just put here 28%. Next competency, we will also do the same. So 6 hours divided by 21, the total number of hours, times 100%. Total of 28.57. As you can see, the first competency and the second competency have the same number of hours. So, for us to get 100%, we will adjust the second competency. So, we will put there, we will round it up. So, we will put there 29%. So, we will do the same on the third competency. So, in the third competency, we have 9 hours. We thought that specific competency for 9 hours divided by the total number of hours times 100 is equals to 42. 42.85 and round it up to 43. So we will see if this percentage will total to 100%. So 8 plus 9, 17 plus 3 is equals to 20. 2, 3, 4, 5, 20. 4, 6 plus 4 is equals to 110. So it is 100%. So you will make sure that you can total 100% on the percentage. So next thing, you can see there the level of difficulty. But before going to that, we will first identify how many items we will make. So in our case, we make 25 items. So in getting the total number of percentage of items in each competency, we have also a formula. So the formula is total number of items average and 10% for difficult. So it is based on the Bloom's taxonomy, where easy has for remembering and understanding, average for applying and analyzing, and difficult is for evaluating and creating. So in doing so, we also have the formula. So the formula is total number of items multiplied by percentage of each level. So in the first competency, we have 7 total of items times, on the easy level we have 60%. A total of a total of 4.2, or we can simply put there 4. The next is on the average level, which is 7 times 30% is equals to 2.1 or 2. Then next is 7 times, in the easy level, which is 10%. In the difficult level, rather, is equals to 0.7, or you can put there 1 to get the total items in the first competency, 7 items. So in the next competency, we will also say we also do the same. So for example, the total number of items is 7 times 0.60 is equals to 4. As you can see, we have the same total number of items, so we will also do the same. So we will proceed to the third competency, which has 11 total number of items times in the easy level, which is 60%, is equals to 6.6, where you can round it up to 7. The next is 11 times in the average level, which is 30%. The total of 3.3, where we can round it down to 3. The next is the difficult level, which is the total number of items times 10%, which is in the difficult level, is equals to 1.1, and we can round it down to 1. So make sure that we can get the total number of 11. So if we will add this total number, we can get 11. So the next thing is in the item placement. So it depends on you on how you will distribute your items on the competencies. So in our case, we have only objective type of assessment. So we are going to just put in the first competency the test 1, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, because we have 7 items. So next is it is just test 1. So next is you will just proceed 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 until you can get 7 items on the second competency. On the third competency, you will just also follow it. It is just test 1 also. We'll just continue the counting. So in our case, we put there 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 until you get the total numbers of items of 11 items. So that is how you will make a table of specifications, and Claro will also show the second sample.
So now we have another example of the table of specifications. We have here the course code or subject, which is Mathematics Grade 5, and the quarter or school year, the first quarter school year 2022 to 2023, and then here in the first column, we have the topic or the learning competencies. So as what Ate Ivy said, first step that you have to do is to list down the competencies in that specific quarter. So we chose 3 competencies. First is round numbers to the nearest hundreds, 3 hours, the second competency 6 hours, and the third competency 6 hours. The next column, we have the percentage. So to get the percentage in the first competency, we have 20%. So how do we get that 20%? So to get the 20%, here is the formula. Number of hours divide total number of hours times 100. So all we have to do is to get first how many total number of hours. So we have to add them all. 3 plus 6 plus 6 is equals to 15. So we have now the total number of hours, which is 15. Then the next step you will do is to put now the number of hours, which is 3, divide 15, the total number of hours, times 100, then we get that 20%. In the next competency, 6, we got it for 6 hours, so 6 divide 15 is equals to 0.4 times 100 is equals to 40%. And the last is the same as the second competency. 6 divide 15 is equal to 0.4 times 100 is equals to 40%. And the next step that we have to do is to get the total number of items in per competency or each competency. So there in the last column, the total number. So all we have to do is to get first how many total number of items in that specific test. So in our case, we decided to take to give the test with 25 items. So now we get the total number of items, which is 25. So 25 times how many percent? So as you can see, there are 20%. So 25 times 0.20 is equals to 5. That's why in the first competency, the total number is 5. And then the second is 25 times 0.40 is equal to 10. That's why in the second competency, the total number is 10. And the third competency, we have 25 times 0.40 is equals to 10. So in the last competency, we have the total number of 10.
So the next step is to get the level of difficulty, which is the easy is 60%, the average is 30%, and the difficult is 10%. So this is the formula in getting the level of difficulty, which is the total number of items times the percentage. So in first competency, the total item is 5. So 5 times 60% is the total is 3. And in the average, which is 5 times 30%, the total is 1. And in difficult, 5 times 10% is the total, and the total is 1. So in the second competency, the total item is 10. So 10 times 60%, the total is 6. And in the average is 10 times 30%, the total is 3. And in difficult, 10 times 10, the total is 1. In the third competency, the total item is 10. So 10 times 60%, the total is 6. And in average, 10 times 30%, the total is 3. And in difficult, 10 times 10%, which is 1. So in item placement, we will distribute the total item in the item placement, which is the total item is 5. So in item placement, we distribute it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the second competency, the total item, which is 10%, so we will continue distribute the 5 into 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So in third competency, we will have the total item, which is 10. So we will continue distribute 10 items into 15. So we will get 16 to 25 items.
So this time we will do the recap. So what is TOS or Table of Specifications? So TOS is also called as test design is a two-dimensional chart that outlines So it serves as a guide to the teachers in creating instructional decisions that will help improve the teaching and learning process. The next is the purpose